Hi guys, how's it going? Ivano here, and this is my take on which classes are the most fun to play in Star Wars The Old Republic PvP, and also which classes to avoid playing if you value your sanity. First things first, I know this one is 100% subjective. You might not agree with even one of the classes that I find the most fun to play personally, and that's okay, but people have asked me to do this kind of fun to play tier list, so here we are. Listen to the end if you want to have a good laugh, or if you don't enjoy this one, I recommend that instead you simply go and enjoy SWTOR's latest story content update. So, starting with S tier, and if you have watched my videos before, you will know that I enjoy burst classes. There's just something extremely satisfying about instantly deleting an enemy's health bar and sending them back to respawn. So my S tier is made of the two combat styles that excel at bursting down an enemy in a couple of seconds. First of all, we have advanced prototype PowerTech. I played this spec for the better part of 10 years, and it's easily my favorite class ever in any video game. The combination of energy burst, power yield, energy burst, shoulder cannon, and of course explosive fuel means that when you have all your cooldowns, you are kind of an unstoppable force, and anyone who stands in your 15 meters range will meet their maker faster than they can say Thursian Relic of Serendipitous Assault, although exceptions apply for filthy tank players. There are many examples of funny burst moments on my channel already, but just to say, if you enjoy jumping into the middle of a fight, being in people's faces all the time, and you don't mind dying from time to time, AP is the class for you. As a PowerTech, you can also be a total scumbag and pull enemies into the hardball traps on cooldown with your grapple, which is considered a dick move, but since we are talking about fun to play, there are few things funnier to me at least than seeing the enemy tank spontaneously combust. Combine your grapple with Carbonize as they have the same cooldown, and be ready to follow up with a seismic grenade should your victim use their CC breaker. Other than APPT, no other class in the game turns the enemy health bar into binary objects faster than an NG sniper. Your combo of interrogation probe, explosive probe, targeting systems, and EMP discharge while running the Tier 0 R0 ionic discharge tactical can hit an unsuspecting enemy instantly for more than 200k, meaning you are able to send them to the Shadow Realm anytime they are around half HP. The only really negative thing I can say about this class is that you are playing a sniper and other players will hate you for it, but since we can simply one-shot them, who cares? So now we get to A tier, and these are specs in my opinion which are fun to play, but only in the right circumstances. And the first one I have here in A tier is Deception Assassin. Now I used to play a lot more Deception back in Vanilla when the game was first released and in Rise of the Hutt Cartel. Today it feels like a shadow of its former glory, kind of struggles to keep up with the range dot meta and legacy of the Sith. But that being said, it's still very fun to play when the enemy does not have 3 tanks and 5 snipers. Deception also has a strong burst window due to the Shadowcraft legendary implant, which gives it 6 seconds of 100% crit chance after using Phantom Stride from stealth. On top of that, the spec is excellent when played in a pre-made gang squad, where Deception provides unparalleled crowd control lockdown, so the victim is unable to react, while an APPT, NG Sniper, or another Deception Sin deletes their health bar. Also in A tier, we have Rage Juggernaut. Rage is more of a sustained DPS as opposed to a burst class, at least in my definition of the term, because for me, burst is anything that fits into a 4-second hard stun window, and when it comes to that, Rage maxes out at about, let's say, 120k Raging Burst and maybe 80k Furious Strike if you are lucky and have pooled Hatred or something. But where Rage excels is everything that happens after, because with the Domination build, you will have one of these fat, juicy auto-crit Raging Bursts about every 10 seconds. And on top of that, your Champion's Precision Legendary will boost your overall critical chance to levels that only a few specs can achieve. And that means even if the enemy counters your first burst, you can simply keep training them down with your relentless DPS pressure. On Rage, you can jump to an enemy, be fully CC immune while unloading your Raging Burst plus Furious Strike, then lock them down with Force Push, another Force Charge, Force Choke plus Crush, and Obliterate, and repeat your burst combo. Once your enemy is re-evaluating his life choices in the respawn, you get a free reset of your Enrage plus Force Charge, and leap to the next victim to repeat this cycle. Rage is the strongest single target DPS in PvP, and in games where it is encountered by 18 snipers or a premade that only focuses you, you will often get top DPS with more than a million gap to the number 2 player. In B tier, also known as the blue balls tier, these specs can be extremely fun, but most of the time they will cause you great pain. And as the first spec in B tier, we have Vengeance Juggernaut. Now, Vengeance was once described as the most fun you can have with your pants on by Mark Biggs, if I remember correctly. And Cut to Pieces Vengeance for sure is the king of cleave. Facing a bunch of tanks with heals and want to see yellow numbers fly, Vengeance can do that better than any other spec in the game. So why is it not S tier fun to play? That's because for every game where you get that monster 30k DPS stack, there are 15 games where you get fucked by 20 snipers, rooted by 30 Madness Orcs, or perma-slowed by 40 Lightnings. If you don't mind standing around, wagging your lightsaber menacingly at the enemy ranged while you chase them down at about 5 kph, only to hit respawn by the time you finally catch up to them, play Vengeance. But otherwise, the A and S tier specs are more fun in general. Hatred is in a similar spot to Vengeance in my opinion. The damage is fun as hell, but you won't get it off that often, because either the enemy heals cannot keep up with your lead DPS skills, or if the enemy has brains, they will realize that you are the squishiest motherfucker alive and kick your ass straight to the far side of the outer rim. C tier, these are specs that I rarely enjoy, but I don't really hate them either. And the first one would be PowerTech, and actually I'll put Lethality in the same category. I only really play this if there are too many tanks in queue, or if I have too many fanboys tunneling me. Because sure, it's fun to dot everyone and kind of see the world burn, but most days I would much rather blow someone up as AP, so this is why Pyro is only in C. Lethality is great whenever you are having a hard time falling asleep though. Next we have the Mercs, Arsenal, and of course IO, which unfortunately are the worst range specs in PvP. Not much to say other than why would I want to play something that never dies but also doesn't really kill anyone. I refuse to be ignored, and so I refuse to play these two specs. Next we have Fury, Carnage, and Annihilation, and personally I have never really enjoyed Marauder in general. Maybe it's that my old brain prefers the simplicity of Rage or AP to the high alacrity APM maxing playstyle of a space gliding Carnage, or maybe it's my dedication to mental health and general sanity, since Marauder mains tend to be, let's say, special players. Now we get to the healers. They're okay. Personally, I prefer destroying stuff, but I guess these are cool to have on your team sometimes. Marksmanship is also in C tier, and anyone who mains this will tell you that this is indeed the only true sniper spec, and if you disagree, challenges you to fight them. But oh wait, you can't fight them, because if you ever try, you will be permanently rooted 40 meters away, while they are fully CC immune and fucking off to Narnia with their triple roll plus hololocate at any time they choose. So fuck those guys, C tier. And finally in C tier we of course have Concealment, but since I refuse to play objectives, I will leave that one also in C tier. Now we get to D tier, and I call this one the don't ruin the game bro tier. And of course in this tier we have Lightning and Madness Sorcerer, because I am almost certain that whoever is in charge of class balance at Broadsword must be a Sorc main, because otherwise I have no fucking clue why the devs would give them access to so many roots and slows while also making them near unkillable when played by someone with one or more hands. Leading psychologists have not yet come up with a theory that sufficiently explains what could motivate a person to sink that low as to become a sorcerer main, but when they do, I think a Nobel Prize is in order. In rating virulence D tier, I am excluding the 1% of Vero players that have already mained the spec for a long time before it became meta. So if that's you, you're cool, and to the rest of you, you're all little bitches for rerolling, and you know it. But now finally, let's talk about the prime evil in PvP right now, the tanks. Because I believe there are actually two types of tank players in PvP, the insecure noobs and the psychopaths. The first one is just kind of bad at the game and they play tank to not permanently die. They are mostly harmless and you can find them right-clicking a node while standing in a bunch of AoEs. The second one, however, will hunt you like you killed their dog, swap guard every GCD on whoever you are targeting, and keep you permanently white barred. All of that while laughing like a maniac in Sage chat. The worst thing about these scumbags is that they force you to play boring dot specs such as Pyro and Left to counter them, so overall it's safe to say that these scumbag tank players are actively making the world a worse place to live, and if you are one of them, I hope you step on Lego daily for the rest of your sorry existence. That's all I have for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this very serious tier list video. Let me know in the comments below which specs you find the most fun to play and the most frustrating to play against. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.